Hi, welcome to today's brief book review. The book we're looking at today is called The Man in the Bunker by author Rory Clements. I have to admit, I don't normally go for historical thrillers, but Rory Clements is an established author, and as the book says, the strapline of the book says, the master of the wartime spy thriller, a quote from the Financial Times. The bit that piqued my interest, to be honest, was the bit at the top that says, what if Hitler had survived? Now, I'm not always that keen on military spy thrillers, but I do love a good conspiracy theory, so I thought, give this a go. And it turns out that this is the sixth outing for our hero in this book, Professor Tom Wilde, Cambridge professor and also spy. Previous books about Tom Wilde have been very well received, and this one is based clearly at the end of the war. And as I said, the main plot is given away at the top of the book. That says, what happens if Hitler had survived? So the book opens with Professor Tom Wilde being back in Cambridge. He's out with his son Johnny. They're out for the day, having a nice day. They've seen the Kingfisher. He's shown him around Cambridge. And Tom is looking forward to getting back to being a professor again and teaching at Cambridge. They get back to Tom's house and he sees a car outside and thinks, hang on, what's going on here? And sure enough, there are people visiting, some of whom he knows very well. Some of them are from the Office of Strategic Services, i.e. the spies, and there's also an American intelligence officer. Turns out they want Tom to do yet another mission. They want Tom to go back to Germany and see if he can actually find out what happened to Adolf Hitler. Now, the story about Hitler was that he died in his bunker at Berlin, committed suicide. But no body was ever found. It turns out that Joseph Stalin is talking to Harry S. Truman at the Potsdam Conference and says the Soviets still believe that Hitler could be alive. American intelligence also believes that Hitler could be alive, as does British intelligence. And despite the fact that they know that several of the top Nazis have basically gone to South America via Italy, Spain, Portugal, wherever, they believe that Hitler, if still alive, is probably somewhere in his favourite place near the Germany-Austria border up in the Alps. So they need somebody to go and investigate the leads that they've got from various people to see if Hitler is still alive, and if so, to be brought to justice for his crimes. Tom initially isn't that keen and thinks that his wife Lydia will be none too happy about Tom disappearing again. But once the people from the OSS have gone, Lydia says to him, do you really want to turn down a chance of actually finding Hitler? And so Tom accepts the mission and goes off to Germany. Tom's given an offer of somebody to help him out, a British lieutenant called Moses Heck. Now Moses is from the Netherlands, he's of Jewish descent, and the book describes him as a visceral loathing of the Nazis. So Tom and Moses form basically a good cop, bad cop outfit, with Tom taking a more measured approach, Moses not quite so measured, in fact he's a bit of a hothead. And they follow up leads from various sources. They talk to Hitler's dentist, his driver, his secretaries, and they're trying to find out what happened in the bunker. Is there any substance to this rumour that Hitler could still be alive? And that basically is how the story develops. They talk to people in the camps where millions of people have been displaced due to the ravages of war, and they try to find out what happened to Hitler. Is there anybody going to be taking over from Hitler? Is there going to be another Führer? And that's basically the story. Now, I'm not going to give away the conclusion of their task, because clearly that would ruin the book. Needless to say, it's well written. The story has lots of twists and turns. Clearly, some people are being truthful in their comments to Tom and Moses. Some not quite so truthful for various reasons. Some still loyal to the Führer. Some just saying anything to save their skins. So quite an intriguing tale, well written, and that in itself is worth a read. There's also another story. It's a story of. It's a very descriptive story of the camps and all these millions of people that have been displaced. That is quite evocative. I've got no personal experience, although my father served and wasn't demobbed till 1947, and described the scenes after the war as basically chaos, because nobody knew what was going on. In particular, the intelligence services didn't know who was telling them straightforward answers and who was trying to cover up their own misdeeds. So a couple of things that make this book worth a read is the standard, investigative spy thriller type story, and the actual descriptions of what it was like following the conclusion of the war, both of which very well written. So I enjoyed reading the book, made a change to read a wartime spy thriller. Will definitely read more by Rory Clements. I'll give the book 7 out of 10. That's it for today's brief book review. I hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon. 10:10 till we do it again. Thanks very much. Bye.